What's good, everybody, and welcome to Body Bag Podcast. I'm Chris Thomas, and with me, as always, Broke Rider Dave.
How we doing, everybody?
It is the rematch you have all been waiting for.
Yeah.
The next versus battle of the genres between old Broke Rider Dave here and me.
Battling it out all season long.
Now, I believe that we've done one so far. That was the holiday horror.
Holiday horror, yep.
And I believe you snaked away that victory by maybe only a point or two.
Yeah, just edge that one out.
Just to edge that one out with Happy Death Day beating out Violent Night.
Yes.
But, I wasn't without, it wasn't a complete blowout. I put forth a good contender.
Two good movies. Two fairly similar movies in their messaging, so.
Yeah, they really did feel like similar kind of feel movies, even though they're completely different.
Yeah.
But for this rematch, I believe it was post-apocalyptic horror.
Yes.
Post-apocalyptic horror with the two combatants 28 weeks later versus A Quiet Place.
Yeah, and like I said to you yesterday, I'm so glad I picked 28 weeks later instead of 28 days later.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't find that anywhere to stream right now.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, you can't even rent it on Amazon.
It's weird that they would have the sequel, but not the first one.
Yeah, and I saw there's a 28 months later. Didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, me neither. So, now, A Quiet Place was my contender, and I'm so happy that I came up with that one last minute just because it was my fallback one was going to be I Am Legend, I think it was.
Yeah.
So, seeing as how you hadn't seen A Quiet Place until then.
No. Yeah.
So why don't we do the one that we had both seen before? Now, I had seen 28 weeks later, but it had been many, many years.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen 28 weeks later, so.
That I forgot. I was trying to remember if 28 weeks or 28 days later was the one that had Cillian Murphy in it. I think that was 28.
28 days.
That's 28 days, if I'm not mistaken, it has Cillian in it. So why don't we do the one that we both have seen before with 28 weeks?
So 28 weeks might not have Cillian Murphy, but it does have a pretty...
It has a lot of people who I
cast. Yeah.
I have Robert Carlyle instead.
Sorry. Robert Carlyle, Rose Byrne from Insidious, Jeremy Renner,
Harold Perrineau.
Yeah, Harold Perrineau. Imogen Poots from Black Christmas.
Yeah. The entire
time I knew she was a good actress, so yeah.
When I kept seeing the daughter, that little girl, I was like, why does she look familiar for? Like, I feel like I've seen her in something. But that movie came out in like 2007, I think.
Yeah, I think this is like 10 years before Black Christmas, so.
So I was sitting there, I was like, why does that face look so familiar? I feel like I've seen her in something. And then I paused the movie, and luckily Amazon has it so that anytime you pause it on the screen, it'll tell you what actors are on the screen at any given moment.
Yeah.
I was like,
did it say Black Christmas?
What was that?
Did it say she was in Black Christmas? Because that'd be shitty if all the good movies she's done, they put the worst one in there.
Oh, well, no, it didn't put her movie. I'm talking about, it just shows the actors on the TV.
I know. Sometimes they'll give like a little bio of other things they've done.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. I just saw that her name popped up, and I was like, that's why I know her. So, brief 1 minute or 1 sentence synopsis for that would be...
So, not reading Wikipedia or anything, so 28 weeks later is 28 weeks from the initial outbreak of the Rage virus. They thought they had it contained and eradicated.
Yeah, society is trying to rebuild.
Yeah, and they find one person contaminated, but this person doesn't, get sick. They're just a carrier. Much like there's people when we had COVID that wouldn't even realize they were sick. They had COVID.
They might not show symptoms.
Yeah.
Or
asymptomatic. Yeah.
Or the 1 sentence synopsis that I gave it is children kill the world.
Basically, yes.
This movie is basically children kill the universe.
Children fuck everything up.
When I was watching this, I was like, this is going to be a very special episode of Chris Hates Kids episode. Because we have both movies that involve kids as centric characters.
And kids screwing shit up for everybody.
And this movie. Now, I didn't remember. Again, it had been many years since I'd seen this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie starts out. You have this. They're a quiet little cottage. You have a group of adults, laying low, staying quiet, trying to, just survive.
Yeah.
You have Robert Carlyle and his wife, and they say they have kids, but they're off like overseas somewhere.
Yeah.
And
they're safe. Yeah.
Everyone's just they're safe. And then all of a sudden, you hear knocking at the door. Somebody screaming. Who is it? It's a little kid. Screaming his ass off outside.
Let me in.
Let me in. And of course, they're going to let him in. I mean, I'm not going to knock the adults for letting a kid in. I would too. But damn it, man. Like, the second that they started asking him, what's wrong, kid? And he's like, oh, they're chasing me. Who's chasing? And the second they were like, how many?
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, this kid done probably brought a horde of rage monsters with him, and of course he does.
Exactly what did. The rage monsters attack the house. They get in.
They get the elderly couple that was living in the house, a couple of the other adults that was living in the house, and
so Robert Carlyle's in a situation where
Don's his name.
He's find like an exit for him and his wife. He's like, "Let's go," and she goes for the kid, grabs the kid, and then rage monsters kind of get in between them. She's like, "Don, help me." He can't do anything at this point.
Yo,
he's gonna die, so he just takes off and leaves.
He was trying to get you to safety.
And they try to make him seem like an asshole for that, but no.
See, that's the thing. They're trying. I know that they're trying to make Don seem like an asshole, but he is trying to get his wife to safety. It's his wife. They have children. He's trying to get him and his wife out of here.
He wants to see his children again. But his wife goes and tries to help this kid that they don't know.
Which part of me is like, okay, I understand the kid's little, but at the same time, he's trying to get you, and then you run off. You run off, put yourself in danger, and then look at him and say, "Help me!" And like, well,
you put yourself in a situation where you have the kid, and you're in between. You got rage monsters in between you and your husband, and he has the exit right behind him, and you're like, "Stay, help me, die."
Now, I will say, he didn't have to shut the door on him. He didn't have to shut the door and lock him in there with those. That was a little douchey, but
well, I mean, if you're going for the exit, you can't let the rage monsters in the room. Yeah.
Well, him turning and running, I'm like, okay, I can understand if you're like, it's not the most heroic thing you could have done, but I understand you have kids. You're probably thinking of them as well, and you want to see them. You didn't tell your wife to go. It's a bad situation, but at that point, I was like, sorry, kid. Yeah. But I mean, we let you in already, and you being here already got everybody in this house killed.
Yeah. So Don gets away.
He gets away, runs off.
Don can run. All right.
Oh yeah, that dude, man.
God. Once he got out of the house.
I hate this virus because I would run out of breath so quickly.
Right.
If I had to run my ass off every minute of the day.
Like, I used to run cross country in high school, but, I was in the military. But running now, no.
When I was in my, early 20s, I was hitting up the gym every single day. Yeah. I could do a couple of miles on the treadmill, just straight. But, nowadays, I'm trying to get back into going. Yeah. This is just Chris trying to, justify his his out-of-shapeness. I'm going to the gym again, I swear. But no, I would not.
Now I just ride a bike, but
I would not survive this if I had to run my ass off every day. So he gets away.
Yeah.
And title card comes up, and then you just get a breakdown of what's been going on the past couple of weeks and how the world is essentially trying to rebuild after 20 weeks after the initial rage virus, which I have to say, 28 weeks is pretty quick. That's a pretty quick response time for rapidly
spreading rage virus that's killing people. Yeah.
28 weeks later, America is now in Britain, helping out.
America-led NATO forces are in.
Americans led NATO forces, and Jeremy Renner's. As soon as I saw Jeremy Renner, I was like, wait, this is like a star-studded cast,
right?
And Rose Byrne's in it.
And Rose Byrne, she sees the kids coming in. She's like,
Idris Elba is the commanding officer,
right? This cast was
stacked
on point. Yeah. But I love the fact she saw the kid. She's like, "What the fuck are we doing, allowing kids in here?"
That was my exact thoughts. I was
Yes,
Rose Byrne in this movie. I was like,
they are not ready for that. Yeah,
She said, "You didn't tell me we were letting kids in here." I was like that. I was like, Rose Byrne, you are my girl. That is exactly my thoughts. Exactly. Like, who brought the kids?
because no kids. There's no movie. Because eventually they would have found the mother. Because they were still going through houses and stuff. They would have
Yeah.
eventually found her.
Now,
Boom, killed her. Boom,
yeah. Well, we're jumping ahead a little bit.
completely eradicate the virus. But yeah,
We're jumping ahead a little bit. So
Because
these
these
two
kids
kids are
yeah.
sorry. These two kids are Don's kids, and Don is now. And even the like kids are kind of shitty to their dad because he's like basically like, yeah, I kind of keep this place up and running. I have access to all the areas, so I can like keep this place maintained and stuff like that. And there's like, oh, so you're the handyman? I'm like, fuck you.
Right.
I was like, I'm sorry, kids. What exactly are you doing to improve our lives here in this zombie wasteland?
Right.
Um,
And then they're like, "What happened to mom?" I was like,
yeah.
"That's a rough conversation to have."
That's a rough conversation, and he basically but he excludes the fact that he left her, but he did say, your mom's dead. I did everything I could to help her," which is semi-true.
Yeah.
And they're living pretty much in a very nice condo in the city.
And then he's like, "Yeah, eventually we'll move into our new house." And they're like, "What?"
Yeah, because I guess their original house is somewhere out in the quarantine zone.
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, we're not going to be able to go back there."
And at this point, you get introduced to some of the side characters, like Jeremy Renner's character, whose name is Doyle, I believe. And,
Yeah, he's a sniper. He's just sitting on the roof talking shit.
yeah, he's friends with a helicopter driver played by Harold Perrineau, and I hope I'm saying that last name correctly. And you just basically see that, all right, this town is kind of efficient. They have security and stuff like that. Except for they're not efficient because the next day the kids leave the condo area and go right out into the quarantine zone.
Yep.
Just right past security and right into the quarantine zone where there's still dead bodies about
Yeah.
because they want to go see their old home. That's at that point I was saying, I can see kids, I can understand kids being dumb up to a certain point, but security in this place sucks.
Right.
Like you don't have anybody on watch around the quarantine like city limits.
Right. You got a guy in the helicopter. He's like, "Oh." After a while, he finds him at the new house. But what are you doing beforehand? Like,
Yeah, you watch them go out into the quarantine zone. It's like, probably somebody should probably address that.
you should have fences around so you can't just walk into the quarantine zone.
And now the kids go out to the quarantine zone. They find a moped and get some keys, and then they make their way to their old house where they have an unexpected guest living there.
Turns out, mom's alive.
Turns out old mom's alive and apparently made her way back from. They don't say how she made it back, but made it back from wherever that cottage was. And she's, I guess, been holed up in their old house.
Which is something that didn't make sense to me. Like, I get that, okay, she doesn't have symptoms of the rage virus,
Uh-huh.
but how did they not kill her?
Well, you mean the rage monsters? I mean, they still
Yeah.
like tear you apart.
Yeah, like how did she not get tore apart?
Well, I'm assuming that kind of like with other zombie movies, like the zombies can sense one of their own because you never see rage monsters like kind of going at each other really.
Oh, I'm just assuming she threw the kid to the rage monsters and got out of there.
She probably
Because you don't see
"All
the
right, fuck
kid
this
anymore.
No, the
kid's
kid's
gone.
probably dead.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that she probably got bit, and then since it's a fast-acting thing, well, no, actually, that's not true. Well, because in a couple minutes, I'll go into why that's not true. So the kids find their mom. Their mom's delirious, but she's infected, but she's not ragey. And the military comes and picks up the kids, picks her up.
Yeah.
So already wasting resources and stuff like that to go chase after these kids.
And then the moms get pissed off that she has to go through like the whole
Quarantine
cleansing
process.
process. Yeah, like what the fuck did you expect? They just let you in?
I thought that was funny because she's sitting there like anybody who would have to get quarantine into a quarantine zone, you get stripped and then you have to basically get scrubbed down and washed.
It's gonna be uncomfortable, but you're not gonna be sitting there like, no, no,
She's acting like
no,
she's getting
no.
tortured.
Like trying to give a cat a bath.
Like really, that is a very good way to put it. Yeah, it was like trying to give a cat a bath. It's like, lady, come on. Like, I understand. This is, I know it's an embarrassing thing, but this is zombie times right now. You're lucky they didn't shoot you on sight.
Right.
Like, you're getting scrubbed down and whatever like that. You're getting some blood drawn.
Yeah.
They find out that she's infected. Dawn finds out, oh, your wife's alive, and so Rose Byrne is a scientist, and she's studying her blood, and she's like, this is kind of like the opposite of The Last of Us, because in The Last of Us, when somebody found out, oh, this kid might have blood that might save the world, they're like, oh, well, we need to, get her to this destination. We need to make sure she's safe.
Idris Elba was supposed to play that. He's like, shoot her.
Shoot her. Kill her and study the corpse. Which, if
they would have done
yeah,
at the moment, nothing would have happened.
it sounds harsh, but if they knew what was to come later, they probably would have done that.
Would have prevented thousands upon thousands of deaths just shooting her.
So Robert Carlyle,
And he had a great line, too. Just study the corpse. I
Study
don't
the
care.
corpse.
Kill her.
study the corpse. Which, again, sounds harsh, but in retrospect would have been a
it
way
was saved
better.
thousands of lives, yeah.
So Don comes in to see his wife, trying to give the whole "I'm sorry" speech. Sorry I left you to die, which again goes right past security.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, like he had that line. He's like, I can get it anywhere.
Yeah,
but here's the thing:
he's not military.
Yeah.
There's nobody like sitting outside the door going like, "Excuse me, sir, what are your credentials?"
Yeah.
No, you can't see the infected woman.
like a sentry, yeah. But why did anybody say, "Hey, your wife's infected"?
Oh, you mean
No
instead
one
of
wa-
saying, they just said
Well-
your wife's alive,
Yeah,
not hey, look, you might want to.
stay away from your wife because she's infected.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, how did he even get into the room? Like,
He has that all-access key card, man.
yeah, yes, I forgot.
Yeah.
Any old groundskeeper can just walk into the heavy military base if you have a right card. And
I guess he's head of everything,
so he says, sorry to his wife. She's like, I love you, Don. Now, did she know she's infected because she kisses him,
I think she kind of knows.
and then he rages out?
Yeah, but she kind of figured, like, maybe she has like a lesser strand or something. Because he gets infected and
Kills her.
domestic violence occurs.
and kill, like, when I say kill, I mean he kills her, he eye
Brutalizes
gouges her.
her, man.
Brutalize her. That's what I was gonna say. Never mind. Maybe rage monsters can sense their own infected, because if that were the case, then he wouldn't have killed her. So yeah, it's a good point. How is it that the initial zombies didn't rip her to shreds?
I'm telling you, she threw the kid to him and got
And then
out of
ran.
there. Yeah.
At that point, she was like, "Yeah, my husband was right."
She got bit once and she's like, nope,
Fuck
not
this.
doing this. Take the kid. I'm out.
It's not, you know what? This kid wasn't even supposed to be here. So he rages out, and then just goes, it just starts spreading the virus, starts attacking people. They start attacking others, and now it's a pandemic.
So you got Rose Byrne trying to take these kids to safety because, if their mother's blood could
Maybe
possibly
it
cure
passed
disease,
on,
maybe
yeah.
got passed down. So she's trying to take these kids with her. They're like, no.
And these
then,
kids are constantly getting people put into. Again, if those kids weren't around, they wouldn't have gone outside the quarantine zone. Wouldn't have
So
got to the mother.
the little brother gets separated from the group and he gets locked into a room that wasn't locked very well because his dad, a few minutes later, just walks up in that bitch, starts killing people.
He got locked into a room with a bunch of other people, I think.
Yeah, a bunch of other people, and then
Yeah.
his dad just kind of walks in the side door.
Yeah, just walks in and
Yeah.
then starts tearing up some more people.
So they basically locked in hundreds of people in this room to be slaughtered.
Pretty much.
Because no one thought, hey, there's multiple entrants into this room. We should probably lock them all up.
Yeah. And so now it's the entire quarantine zone is pretty much just a mixture of infected and people running around. You got snipers on the roof who now can't distinguish between who is a rage monster and who are people trying to run for safety. So they get the orders to just shoot everybody at ground level.
And that's when Jeremy Renner shoots Rage Monster and then gets the little boy in his sight. And that's when he decides, like, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm going to go protect this kid.
That's where he becomes Hawkeye. He's the hero. That's where Jeremy Renner became a hero.
Yeah. So this little kid gets pulled into, like, this little abandoned
has a couple of
storage area.
survivors
Yeah,
in it. Yeah, Mhm.
yeah. They start boarding up the door.
Sisters there.
Jack Whitley's sister and Rose Byrne are there.
How convenient! All of our
Yeah.
main characters are here,
Story convenience.
and so they all team up, and they're all like, "All right, we need to get out of this area." They find out, or
Yeah,
Jeremy
that-
Renner. Yeah,
Jeremy
finds out-
Renner walks in the other door after they boarded up one door. He just walks through another one. Like, do
Again,
people
no-
not look for multiple doors and rooms? Like,
No.
what is going on here?
So he comes in, and he's on. He also has radio contact with his helicopter buddy. Eventually, you find out they're about to carpet bomb pretty much the entire area.
Yeah, they're just gonna light London up. So
Yeah, so they need to.
he's
get
like, we
outside.
need to go because even if the zombies can't get us, we're about to be blown up. So let's go.
So yeah, so they start making their way to the outskirts of town.
Yeah, and then they get pinned down by a sniper. And Jeremy Renner's like, listen, to one of the other adult guys, he's like, listen, I need you to go out there running zigzags.
I like that he says it to the guy with the shot leg, doesn't he?
Yeah. If you're running zigzag, he's gonna miss you, and then I'm gonna find out where he is and get him. All right, I need you to just do that.
I mean, Jeremy Renner knows that dude was gonna get shot. I mean,
Yeah, but the guy, he's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. No, and
I
then the
think-
little kid just runs out and does it.
I think that we always time this at the exact moment a train's going by.
Damn train.
I think that the train we are on the same schedule as the train over there is the same as Body Bag schedule. So,
Evidently, yeah.
but dude says, "Fuck no, I'm not doing that." And then the kid was the kid's name. I know the girl's name is Tammy, and what's the kid's name? Is Alex?
I want to say Andy, but I don't know if that's right.
Well, we're calling him Andy now.
Yeah.
So Andy books it and runs, and the sniper starts trying to shoot. Apparently, these snipers can shoot full speed rage monsters, but not this kid, because the sniper tried multiple shots. Like this sounded like a machine gun sniper with as much bullets that were getting fired, and could not hit the kid once. But Jeremy Renner hits the spot. Jeremy
One
Renner,
shot,
boom,
Yeah, takes
finds
one.
out where the guy was shooting, kills him.
And they
yeah.
move on.
Yeah, they move on. So eventually they make their way under the Thames, I think, or under the river.
Yeah, under the River Thames.
Under the River Thames, and then they make it to the outskirts of town, luckily. At this point, the helicopter pilot, Harold Perrineau, doesn't know that Jeremy Renner has some survivors with him. He just
He
thinks
thinks
that,
he's picking up his bro who's had a rough night. He's like, all right. So he's
Yeah.
like, who the
Leave
fuck
no
are
man
these
behind.
people? Yeah.
So they make it to an open field, and the entire time, Robert Carlyle, Don, is kind of like tailing them.
Yeah.
Like he's always like 100 yards behind, but he's kind of like on their tail.
Yeah.
And they make it to an open field, and all of a sudden, on the horizon, you see like a herd of these rage zombies.
Wild. Yeah.
Jeremy Renner's like, everybody get down so they don't see us. And then that's when Harold Perrineau realizes, oh, this dude has people with him. He's going there to pick up his friend Doyle, Jeremy Renner, and he's like, who are all these people?
Yeah. He's like, they're gonna shoot me out of the sky if I take these people.
And not to mention, I don't even know if I could carry all these people. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, and at this point, a douche nozzle of the year award goes to, now I don't know what the guy's name was, but the guy who got shot in the leg and who was asked to do that zigzag pattern but didn't,
And he would, yeah.
takes it upon himself as Doyle is trying to, negotiate these. He's trying to negotiate everybody onto this helicopter.
Yeah.
He's trying to talk his friend, hey, look, screw the line of command. Let's get, these
Just
people.
get them across the channel.
Yeah.
Safety. That's all you need to do right now. Don't worry about
Dude.
taking them back. Just get them across the channel.
Dude runs up past everybody, jumps on the landing
There you
leg
go,
of the
there you go,
plane
there you go.
or the helicopter, throws
Throw
it
it
off
off.
balance,
Yeah.
and I thought the helicopter was going to crash.
Yeah.
He throws it all off balance and basically screws up their ride right there because the guy has to kind of fly away. He takes out a
Yeah.
lot of zombies with the chopper blades on the way out.
Yeah.
There.
That was
And
nice of him.
I've never wanted a guy to get eaten by zombies so badly.
Right.
I was like, dude,
You're
like,
fucking up the game for everybody else. You gotta go.
if you gave it another 30 seconds, he was probably negotiating you onto the helicopter.
Yeah.
So Now,
But in awful situations, some people just tend to panic and make bad decisions.
so now, so now they have to keep moving. I believe they're trying to go to Wembley Stadium. Wembley Stadium
Is it
is where
Wembley? Yeah.
where Jeremy Renner said, "All right,
Yeah.
listen, I'm taking these guys to Wembley Stadium. Meet us there with the helicopter." So they start getting there. They eventually find. They make their way through a city bit, and there's a abandoned car there that they try to jump in and take shelter. There's some rage zombies
Yeah.
around the corner. Won't start though.
Nope. Of course not. Needs to be pushed.
Needs to be pushed, and my boy Doyle, he knows he's not. At this point, the Americans show up. More Americans show up.
Yeah.
With flamethrowers and nerve gas.
Yeah.
You just see nerve gas start like engulfing the town. It looks like the mist, and it takes out the initial rage monster zombies. And Jeremy Renner, he knows he's not about to make it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Look, I'm about to get out and push, and I'll meet you at Wembley Stadium." And you know he's not going to make it.
No.
He starts pushing.
His very last push, he's engulfed in flames.
The Americans can't distinguish him from another rage zombie and light his ass on fire.
Yeah.
And that was not a slow death either.
No.
Burned alive. And
R.I.P.
but the car starts.
Start driving.
They start driving. Now eventually, and I forgot why they ended up having to go like underground.
Yeah, to hit up the subway station.
Yeah, they had to hit up the subway station, and they start making their way underground. At this point, it's Rose Byrne and the two kids.
Yeah.
These are the only two survivors of that entire city of survivors.
And this is the point of the movie where it's like, oh, that's a cool shot. Oh, you're going to keep doing the shot.
You talking about
you're still doing it.
The first person...
I'm completely over it. This is stupid now.
You talking about the first person...
like through a scope, through a night vision scope.
Yes, and at first, initially it's like, okay, this is a pretty okay shot.
But they do it for like 5 fucking minutes.
And you can't tell what is happening.
Yeah.
I was getting a headache. I was like, it's just shaky all the time. This movie is scared to keep the camera still. Like
it really is, yeah.
This movie is a lot of quick cuts, a lot of shaky cam. And in certain instances, I understand why. Yeah. It's a rage virus. It kind of gives that effect of, like, everything's being crazy, whatever. But at some point, hold still.
It's almost shot like a found footage film.
Yes, it is. I was like, at some point,
but it's not found footage.
No, it's not.
No, this is not okay at times.
I would like to see what's going on, please.
Yeah.
But they do that in the thing. But guess who's there with them? They're not alone. Guess who's there? Old Robert Carlyle, old Bobby Boy, is...
Donnie Boy is back.
That dude is on a mission to kill his children.
Yeah.
Because he kills Rose Byrne.
Yep.
And then attacks his son, bites him.
And then...
Tammy... she
lights his ass up, yeah.
I guess Tammy grabbed a gun that was from... Maybe Rose Byrne had it.
Yeah.
After Rose Byrne died, she has a gun. Tammy shoots her dad, kills him. So now it's just the two kids. They make their way to Wembley Stadium, where luckily old Harold is there.
And he's like, where's Doyle? It looks like it's just us two.
At that point, I would have just gotten in the helicopter and just flew away.
That ending would have been so much better.
Nope.
If he's just like, nope, and you see him fly up in the helicopter, and you just see rage monsters start coming through the stadium.
Yeah, just infecting the stadium, and he just goes, whoo! just flies away.
He's just gone, yeah. And he just leaves the two kids there standing in the middle of the stadium like,
nope.
What?
Nope, but he takes the kids, and they fly off to France, I believe, is where their rendezvous point is. France is like what Britain was at the time, which was the new headquarters of trying to rebuild. And the ending scene is like 28 days later, and you just hear France in complete pandemonium because the kid may have gotten shot. The kid got bit by his dad, didn't show any symptoms, but he's still a carrier, just like his mom.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, now he brings the kids over to France, and now France is doomed, all because of the kids.
These kids have fucked over 2 countries.
This is This movie is called Children Kill Europe. Children Destroy Europe.
Because
And
in the
that,
radio, if you listen closely, it wasn't even like France asking for help. At this point, it's spread to Germany
and yeah, so
because he was
basically
speaking in German, like asking for help.
that's the move, and that's the end.
You see the helicopters all tore up, so I'm guessing Harold died.
I like Harold. I like
Yeah.
that actor.
He was really good in this movie. He didn't have many parts, but the parts he had were all really well done. So
Well, how about just initial thoughts of just because this was your pick.
yeah, it's a fun zombie movie.
I will say that
Yeah.
I do like the originality of this rage virus. I like
Yeah.
the original like take on a virus that infects people. They're
Yeah.
fast zombies. These are run at full speed
Yeah.
at you zombies, and it
Yeah,
is
that's always fun.
instant.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the thing that that sets it apart from a bunch of other zombies. Thing is that this is
You get
instant.
infected instantly. Yeah,
Second you're bit, you are now part of the horde.
yeah. Unlike other zombie movies where you get the old cliche, "Has anyone been bitten?"
Has anyone been bitten? And then you slowly
It's-
turn. And,
You see the one guy just bleeding out. Nope, I'm good.
yeah.
Knowing he's about to screw over everybody because he's about to turn.
And and this isn't like a typical. These zombies don't want to eat you. They want to just rip you to shreds.
Yeah,
It's not like well, they do eat you because they say that the zombies get starved at some point. But
Yeah.
their first and foremost thing is that they just want to rip you apart.
they eat you kind of like a crocodile, just kind of tearing you apart,
It tears you apart.
tearing at whatever muscles they could get. So
So it does have points for that. It has points for having a star-studded cast.
yes,
So it's acted fairly well.
no problems with the acting in this one. No.
Yeah, well, once or twice, I think that Imogen Poots' performance could be a little bit wooden, but other than that,
Yeah,
excuse me.
she's acting like a kind of like a stubborn teenager. So
So
okay.
before we go into scores and before we go into A Quiet Place, any particular kill of the movie?
Kill of the movie. I'm gonna go in the beginning when Don was running and he got out on the boat and he had killed the guy who he was holding up with the guy for a while, but he has to kill him because now he's infected and kind of kicks him off the boat and then runs him over.
Yeah. Originally, I was gonna give it to Doyle just because he went out
Yeah.
like a hero.
Yeah,
But I kind of wish he didn't because then those kids it would have just died with them there.
yeah,
So I'm gonna give it to Alice because that is a horrible way. She's strapped down to a gurney type thing. She
Yeah.
can't move,
she can't defend herself. Yeah,
and she gets torn apart, not being able to move. Her arms and legs are bound. Her eyes get gouged out,
yeah.
and her husband and you know what?
Wallops on her.
I actually think that this kill happened before the rage virus completely took over. I think that was just him. I have to kill her before she tells the kids the truth that I left her for dead.
Yeah, got to keep the secret intact.
So I'm gonna give it because that's just brutal. Like
Yeah.
nothing worse. Like if you get torn from one of these rage zombies, that's one thing. But when you can't move,
Yeah, you have no way to defend yourself. That's awful.
she didn't get turned. She got ripped to shreds.
Yeah. Like he basically pummels in her face with his fist and then gouges out her eyes.
And then just keeps going.
Yeah.
So, all right. So those are the two kills. All right, let's score this thing before we move on. Starting with technicals.
Technicals. I'm gonna go with the 6 on the technicals. Just because there's a lot of jump cuts, shaky cams, and overuse of the scope cam.
I was going to give it a 7 because I'm going to give it a 6.5. Because I was going to give it a 7 because there are some interesting shots, but I think they overuse them.
Yeah.
Like there's some good effects with the strobe lights. I thought had some pretty cool shots with the strobe lights.
Yeah.
They do have some POV shots that I thought were pretty cool, and they also have some shots that are like devoid of sound, so you kind of let the mood sit. But yeah, a lot of the time they just overuse like the shaky cam and overuse that POV shot from under the. It was like the Cloverfield scene.
Yeah.
But the Cloverfield scene, was able to actually hold still a couple times so you could see what's going on.
Yeah, like the pros do outweigh the cons of the way it's shot, but it's not by much.
Yes, it was noticeably distracting.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say 6.5 because it tried to do some fun shots, but they overused it too much.
All right. So for story,
Story, I'm going to say 7 because I will say that realistically, I think there's enough originality in the story that, like, from the way the virus is to.
yeah,
Yeah, there's no happy ending in this thing. It's like
no,
at the very end, it's like, these kids you should have let these kids die.
yeah, I'm right there with you with the 7 on the story. Like, I think it's an original story, and you do have enough in the story to get emotionally invested in most of these characters.
And there is a sense of that urgency because it is once one person gets in, that's all. That's it.
That's all it takes, yeah. And
That's all it takes.
exactly. One person got infected.
One person gets infected in the town, and in less than an hour, they have to carpet bomb the entire city.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, it takes about an hour for it to go into complete chaos. Yeah.
So I guess we both said what, about 7?
7 for enjoyment.
I said 6.
6. I was gonna go 7.5. 'Cause I know it's shot, not well, but I could probably watch this movie over and over again. Not over and over again, but I could go back to this and enjoy it. Yeah.
I have to say 6 because of it really is like, I'm not endeared to these kids at all.
Yeah.
To me, I just saw them as, wow. Even from the very, very beginning, the kid that they tried to save at the beginning just kills an entire cottage full of people.
Yeah.
And if these kids stayed in the quarantine zone the way they're supposed to, they weren't even in the safe zone for 24 hours.
Yeah.
They weren't, and they already are running outside quarantine. And what's worse is that the adults don't have any kind of security to make sure that kids can't run out, or not even just kids, but just some random asshole goes, oh, I want to go see what the outside thing. No, you stay inside here, and you ain't going out here. There's a reason why we have it cordoned off. And the fact they let Robert Carlyle's character into the room with his wife, is like, dude, Robert Carlyle is the equivalent of a maintenance man.
Yeah.
And you're just going to let him go into the infected woman's cell alone? So it was just it was way too many, like, dumb decisions for me to rate it any higher than a 6.
Yeah. I feel you.
And the noticeably distracting camera shots.
Yeah.
Again, it's 1 point above an average one for me, though.
Yeah. Like, I kind of like the dumb decisions. I put that in the story.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, for a zombie movie, I'm usually never really big on them. So it's probably one of the better ones. So that's why I went 7.5.
I'm trying to think of, like, a different zombie movie where I watch and I'm like, now this is a zombie movie I really like.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, off the top of my head, is it Day of the Dead where it's at night, or is it Night of the whichever one where John Leguizamo's in it?
I think that might be Day of the Dead.
I like that one.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
And I enjoy Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead. That's.
But I just kind of put that
yeah.
aside because that's a comedy.
Yeah, closer to a zombie parody movie than an actual zombie.
Maybe Dawn
movie.
of the Dead, like the remake of Dawn of the Dead, was pretty good.
Yeah.
But all right. So that's one. But now the verses. That was yours. Now one that was a little bit more recent.
Yes, but I tallied the scores for it.
Okay.
So my scores altogether is 20.5. Yours was 19.5.
Okay.
Comes out to 20 out of 30 for
Okay.
28 weeks later.
20 for 28 weeks. All right.
Not bad.
Not bad. I mean, again, none of these are going to be horrible.
Yeah.
We're just going to enjoy some more than others.
Yeah. Now we're moving to a completely different.
We're going from zombies to aliens.
Yeah, from chaos to
Let's
more of a.
let's quiet things down a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's
a
take a
slow
step back.
burn of a movie.
Let's take a step back for a second. And I know that you have mixed feelings with slow burn movies. So let's go into this one. Why don't you take over, since this was the first time you had seen it and this was my pick. So
All right, so Quiet Place, quick synopsis, is the Earth is currently at war against aliens that can't see but will attack anything they hear. And so you got John Krasinski's family living on this kind of like a very nice, put together survival farm.
Yes.
Yeah.
The farm is well, when it opens up, are they already at the farm? Because
Well, they're at the store grabbing. So
yeah, I don't know
it
if they had
opens up with
established
them
themselves
at.
at the, yeah.
Yeah. It opens up. You see people like going through an old like pharmacy slash like convenience store,
Mhm.
kind of like a CVS or a Walgreens.
Trying to find
That
some
looks like it's
supplies.
run down. Yeah, they're just getting supplies.
Which I thought had a really cool shot of. You see that, which I didn't notice until later. I think somebody I'd read it or I'd seen somebody break it down. If you look at the pharmacy, you'll notice that they'll have an entire aisle that is stacked with chips that hasn't been touched because
Yeah, I saw
people
that.
know that
Yes.
they won't.
Yeah,
They don't
chips
wanna make noise.
too much noise. Yeah,
I think little things like that is pretty cool.
this movie is really good with its attention to details.
Yes, and it was the first directorial debut, if I'm not mistaken, by old John Krasinski.
Yeah, this was his directorial debut movie starring himself and his wife.
And his real life wife, Emily
Yeah,
Blunt.
who I think kind of usually don't look at her as one of my favorite actresses,
Mhm.
but when I watch one of her movies, I'm always like, oh, she's really good.
I'm used to thinking of her as more of a badass ever since I saw the movie with her and Tom Cruise.
Was it
Edge of Tomorrow?
Edge of Tomorrow? Yeah, that
I
was a
always-
really good movie.
I'm used to seeing her as a badass.
Yeah.
But I mean, which she still kind of is in this movie.
Kind of, but she's a lot more vulnerable in this movie too.
Yeah, she's pregnant, so
yeah, awful time to be pregnant.
awful time to be pregnant. Awful time to not invest in Well, I think she was probably pregnant at the very beginning. Well, I don't know how
No.
much time. How much time
they're-
passes between?
At the beginning, it says day 435, so
Okay.
they're well into the second year of this thing. So
Oh, so they should have known better. You get your pleasure where you can have it in a post-apocalyptic world. So.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it starts off. Yeah, they're in the pharmacy.
and they're there with their three kids. One's sick, so they're trying to find some medicine for him. And then you got the oldest who's actually deaf. So
Yeah, she has a hearing aid, and
yeah, it works. And then their youngest, which is like he's like 4 or 5.
yeah. He's like
Yeah.
kind of distracted by this toy that's
Rocket, yeah.
this toy rocket.
So he's like reaching on the shelf to get it, and he knocks it off. And you kind of, when you watch it, you're taking runs like, oh, are they about to start this off crazy? That hits the ground. But the sister kind of dives, catches it.
and you're like, phew.
And, John, as they're leaving, John Krasinski being the dad, it's like, no, you can't have this toy. It makes too much noise.
Which they talk in sign language, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
They talk in sign language. You probably figure they probably knew sign language anyway because they have a deaf daughter.
Yeah.
But now that's useful in a time where you
Like-
can't be making noise.
Exactly. So he puts the rocket on the counter. The older sister, trying to be nice and stuff, takes the batteries out and gives it to the little kid.
Mm-hmm.
He grabs the batteries and they start walking home. And they get to like the bridge of where they're getting close to their farm. And
You just hear
I
it.
don't know why they had the little kid in the very back of their walk.
You would think that he would have been at the front of the pack,
Yeah.
or
But
at
no,
least
they
in
have-
the middle.
Yeah, they have him at the very end, and you just hear the rocket go off. So John Krasinski has to put down his 6th son, run across this bridge to try to get to his son before the aliens do.
Wasn't fast
And
enough.
it wasn't fast enough. And his son gets devoured right in front of him.
And that's the opening.
Yeah. That's like the first 10 minutes.
That sets the tone.
Yeah.
And I would initially say, okay, like she endangered the whole group, but she didn't know that the 4-year-old was going to put the batteries back in.
Yeah, she took the batteries out to make it quiet. Yeah.
She was trying to be like, all right, sister is like, all right, let him have the toy. I'll take the batteries out. She didn't
Yeah.
know his dumbass was going to put it back in.
Right. Let him have something nice in this terrible world. Yeah.
So that's
But it's
so
okay.
that's-
They're having another son to replace him anyways.
Yeah, he'll be missed. He'll be mourned, but he'll be
Yeah.
continuing on. Now it's how many days later, or how many weeks or whatever later.
It's only a couple because she was still pretty pregnant when they were in the pharmacy.
It says
That's
it was
why-
actually it says it was a year after. I'm keeping myself on track with the wiki. It says that it was a year later. The family has gone back to normal, and now she is pregnant. So she wasn't pregnant at the very beginning.
She looked pregnant in the. I thought
Oh.
she was pregnant in the pharmacy.
No, I think she wasn't. I think they were just trying to find something. And then Bo dies. Bo was the name of the kid. Bo dies, and then it's over a year and a half, or it's a year later, and she's pregnant now.
Okay.
And they have essentially gone back to normal, or some semblance of normal, living on this kind of farm thing.
Yeah.
And
you kind of see them going through like their everyday life, living.
they play little board games, but with no like dice or anything that can make noise, or cards or something like that. And they do everything they can to keep quiet. I think even to the point where I think they have sand or something where they so they don't crunch on any leaves. Like they have a pathway of sand.
They dump sand in this pathway every day just so they have a place to walk without hitting any of the
like leaves or crunching any like branches or something like that. And there's at one point John Krasinski takes his son out to a waterfall, which I thought was a nice scene.
Yeah, he has to teach his son like survival skills like fishing, knowing that it's a dangerous world and something could happen to him, and his son needs to be able to kind of take care of himself.
But they go to this
family. Yeah,
they go to this loud waterfall though, where I think is the one place where they can actually talk freely.
Yeah, because he's like, if there's something louder, they're not going to hear us. You can talk loud.
But
his son for a while was so like petrified. He's like, they're going to come and get us.
He's like, no,
we're good. We're safe here.
And at this time, also, the daughter Reagan, I think her name is daughter.
I don't know any of their names.
I got it right here. Reagan, I think. Reagan is harboring some resentment towards her father.
Yeah. Well, she kind of thinks that her dad blames her for the death of Bo. And that's kind of like the conversation that John has with his son.
Yeah.
Son asks him, like, do you blame her? He's like, no. Well, you need to tell her because she thinks you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you see that she's harboring some resentment because he doesn't take her out to these fishing trips. And you can see there's tension. They even have arguments with each other, like in sign language.
Yeah.
Which I can see both points.
Yeah.
I can, from his point of view, you can understand if he has a little bit of anger because it's like, I told you not to give him the toy, and on her thing.
Time anger. He's like,
he's trying to keep his family safe.
This situation, I just need you to listen to me.
Yes.
I don't need you to think about anything. Just listen to what I do and
he's
trust
the dad.
I make right choices. Yeah. I don't need you questioning everything I do. Yeah.
And I can understand it from her point that she probably blames herself as well for her brother's death, so she probably thinks that everybody else does as well.
And plus, she's getting into those teenage years where she thinks almost all teenagers think they know everything.
Yeah, they think their shit don't stink.
Yeah.
And so there's just that tension. It's just, it's uncomfortable, but it's like, I side more with John Krasinski because he's just the dad trying to keep his, the family together.
So they go on this fishing trip. Mom's doing laundry. Reagan's taking a walk out to Bo's grave site. And while they're all separated, Emily Blunt steps on a nail and then goes into labor.
Horrible timing.
Yeah. Because the family's all spread out at this point.
At this point, or is it when they're coming back, we see that dude in the woods?
It's around this time, because they're also, like, heading back at this time.
Bo, not Bo,
John and his son are walking back.
Yeah,
they see this old man looking down at his dead wife.
Looking like he's about to have a mental breakdown.
Yeah, and John's like, just be quiet, and this old guy just screams.
Like, John sees it in the dude's face, like, this dude does not want to live anymore. This dude is about to commit suicide via alien dismemberment.
Yeah.
And John Krasinski is like just mouthing to him, saying, "Don't, don't
let us go by."
You know how in 28 weeks later, douche nozzle of the award of the year goes to that guy who did that helicopter thing.
Yeah,
douche nozzle award for this movie goes to that guy.
Yeah, because this guy no longer cares. He's about to die.
It's like, what, you have a family? I don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. My family's all gone.
So he screams at the top of his lungs, alerting aliens. The thing about these aliens is that they literally could be anywhere.
And they're so fast.
They are so fast.
So fast. Spring into action like it's nothing.
They could literally be like, they're in the forest and the dude yells, and within a couple of seconds, boom, aliens there.
Mowed down. And John's just holding his son's mouth behind a tree, praying he doesn't get slaughtered.
Meanwhile, Emily Blunt's not having a good time.
No, because she goes into labor, steps on a nail, and drops a picture frame.
Yeah, which is just alerts more noise.
Alerts an alien to come into the house, so...
Now she's going into labor as a alien is in the house.
Like, first she has to set a timer, set it somewhere, let it go off so an alien goes after that, so she could go upstairs and get into a bathtub to give birth.
Maybe let out a little scream.
Yeah. So she's, like, going into labor in a bathtub while there's an alien, like, right outside
Having
the
to
door.
be extremely quiet.
Which is not a quiet
procedure.
Activity. Yeah.
I don't imagine that could be a very quiet activity.
No, because it's not like she's getting any pain meds or anything for it either.
Oh no, she's
This is an all-natural birth.
By herself.
Yeah.
In the bathtub, and she has to keep a newly born baby quiet.
But also what she does, she hits a power switch that turns all the lights outside from, like, normal translucent lights to red.
Letting John and the son know, hey, there's shit going on over here.
Yeah. I'm guessing they probably set that system in place so they know, in case they went around, that she's going into labor.
They have a pretty efficient setup.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of prepared for when things happen. Like, if people are, if my husband's gone or if I'm gone and I'm on my way back, we need to let each other know somehow that there is trouble on the home front.
Yeah, so John has his son go light off a bunch of fireworks, and then he finds his wife in the shower next to the bathtub, freshly given birth,
Yeah, freshly birthed, given, and tired, and babies tucked away somewhere.
Well, she has the baby with them. And
I thought they tucked the baby away somewhere.
Now John takes her from the house they were into their, like, underground barn where they all sleep.
Yeah, it was like
and then tuck the baby away there
for safety.
And let Emily go ahead and take a nap.
She's earned it.
Yeah. And she's like, where are the other kids? She's like, I'm gonna go find them.
Damn it, kids, why can't you just stay put?
And then we get into the third act of the movie where it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
You got the kids going to the top of the corn silo, lighting a fire to let their dad know, hey, this is where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fall through.
Of course. That sucks.
Yeah.
They fall through the silo, and Reagan... Marcus falls through the silo's roof, and then Reagan jumps in after him.
To save him from drowning in corn, which would be an
fun.
Awful death.
Because it's not drowning, you're choking to death on corn.
You're basically being suffocated underneath the weight of the corn, yeah.
And the creature, now, like one of the aliens now is running towards the silo.
Yeah.
Hears all the commotion, starts running off to the silo.
Yeah.
And the reason why, by the way, that they're off right now is I think... like shortly after, like the pregnancy and everything like that. They Marcus, I think, is the brother.
Yeah,
he Reagan
lit off the
arguing.
Fireworks.
Yeah,
and then he lit off the fireworks, and then he ran into the field, kind of just ran into a tractor, and that brings Reagan over there because she sees his flashlight just laying on the ground.
Now, amongst all of this, we see something happening with Reagan's earpiece.
Yeah, like the current frequency her hearing aids at.
It's like
it screeches in her ear, but it also screeches into the alien's ears. So
it's at a weird frequency where it's like messing with some of the electronics around.
Well, kind of like a dog whistle.
Yeah,
because their hearing's so sensitive that something like that type of frequency just.
Yeah, it hurts her ear, but it hurts their ears too.
Yeah.
So,
but she doesn't really notice it at first.
Yeah.
She didn't even notice there was one around her. She's sitting there wondering why her hearing aid's going crazy.
Yeah. So at this point, John Krasinski, he gets the kids and he ushers them into a nearby truck.
Yeah.
Tell them to get back to where they need to go.
Yeah. Get back to their mom.
Yeah. Now, is it that they? I forget because they're at the truck. He's outside the truck.
Yeah. Once again, I think he gives it like a push start.
It's something along those lines. If that
it's kind of like I think it's kind of like the truck's kind of like on a downward slope. Mm-hmm. So all I have to do is like kind of put it in neutral, and he just kind of pushes it a little bit. It just kind of rolls down to the house, and he decides, and John Krasinski draws the attention of the aliens.
Yeah, the aliens are coming towards the truck, about to. I think they might have actually attacked one of the kids or
Yeah,
something like that. Hurts one of them, and John Krasinski sees that his kids are in danger, and does what that old man did, except for he does it for noble intentions, and he
yeah.
screams, and the monsters come and attack him, kills John Krasinski, so his kids can get to safety.
What I don't get is why he put the axe down first and just die, just gave up.
Try to
Like
at least take something
scream,
out with, yeah.
start swinging the axe. Okay,
Hey, you never know. You
yeah,
might get a lucky shot in.
exactly. Maybe take one of them out.
You
Die.
scream or you scream. Yeah, the worst you're gonna do is just die. So you're gonna die anyway. So you might as well
Yeah,
try.
yeah, but he doesn't even try. He just gets devoured. Kids get away. Now the basement's flooded. I think I missed the part of where the fuck the water come from.
I don't know.
Yeah, hear the water, and then like next thing, the basement's flooded. The baby thing is open, and she just grabs the baby, and there's a alien in the basement with her.
Yeah, there's a there's a creature in the basement,
Yeah,
and at this point, John Krasinski had been kind of studying like the her hearing implants and studying
yeah.
and trying to find more efficient ways for her hearing, stuff like that. I don't know exactly what he did in the previous life, but apparently enough where he could kind of like tinker around with stuff,
He was probably like
engineer or something.
electrical engineer because he seemed like he knew how to solder and
Yeah,
maybe like a computer hardware engineer, something like that. Where
and
he knew how to build like computer chips and everything.
and down in the basement, there's also a microphone that there's they have it set up so that there's like speakers everywhere in case they need to
Yeah,
make a distraction
yeah,
for somebody to get away. She takes off her hearing aid and holds it up to the microphone, and it emits that sound that those creatures hate.
yeah. And this creature goes crazy, passes out,
And
gets back up. She puts it back against the microphone, and Emily Blunt blows its head off.
blows its head off. So now they've kind of figured out a weakness for these things.
Yeah,
So Emily Blunt kills it with a shotgun. At this point, the baby is like you got baby in the basement. John Krasinski's dead. They look at the screens that have the security for the surrounding barn area and see other creatures starting to run towards the house.
no, I think they were running the opposite way because of the noise. She put it against the speaker and emitted the noise all around the house.
Yeah, but then
And I think they were running the opposite way from the house.
I thought that they were running towards, because then Emily Blunt grabs a shotgun and goes and then kind of smiles, and that's where it ends. Like, bring it on.
I think it's more like, we know how to kill these guys now.
But essentially, that's where it ends.
Yeah,
It ends with, all right, we know kind of what these creatures are weak against now,
yeah,
and let's now we can like kind of fight back, sort of thing.
yeah,
So now at the end, it's kind of like they spent their lives in hiding, and now they can spend their lives fighting.
yeah.
And then that's where the movie ends. And I still haven't seen A Quiet Place 2.
Me either. I thought I might watch it tonight. I'm not sure yet, but
So initial thoughts.
so when comparing these two movies, they're different. You have to be like watching them back to back is weird.
Well, yeah, they're differently paced.
Yes.
I would say, yeah, if you're in the mood for something more fast-paced, 28 weeks. But
Is it-
now I'll just say, for a directorial debut, this was a great movie by John Krasinski.
Oh, John Krasinski knocked it out of the park with this one.
And I loved the idea of a movie where the people hardly talk at all.
Yeah.
Maybe once or twice, maybe at the waterfall thing, and then 2 screaming scenes, but you don't even really hear them scream that much. But the
So
whole
if
point
you
of-
need a movie just in the background, this isn't it. But if you really want to sit down and immerse yourself in a movie,
in a performance,
yeah, then A Quiet Place is perfect for that type of thing.
I like any kind of movie that experiments was like, all right, we're plays with your senses.
Yeah.
And it's also one of those movies that I'd like to go back and rewatch just to be like, all right, let's see, like that, like the potato chips thing. See what other small details are like around where like how the world will have changed if we can't indulge in sound.
Yeah.
Like, even to the point where like they're playing, they're playing like games as like a family game night, but they're doing it in a way where you can't make noise. So there's no bells or whistles, no dice rolling, nothing like that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's completely different.
And it, happened to work out that their daughter was deaf anyway, so they probably already were learning sign language.
Yeah, so they already probably known sign language because it's the oldest kid that was deaf. So they probably taught their kids as
Which I thought was pretty interesting. You don't see
yeah,
that too much.
it was nice. And I know John Krasinski wanted to get an actual deaf actress to play that role too. So nice, so,
Some inclusion, deaths or scenes of the movie. I think there's only really three.
there's only three deaths, but I want to say the scene where the son's running through the cornfield away from the alien. I'm like, that's such an awful place to run away from if you try not to make noise. You're gonna make a shit ton of noise running through a cornfield. But I still thought that was kind of a fun scene because he got quiet because he knocked himself out running into a tractor.
I'm gonna give my death scene to old John since I didn't give the hero his props in the last one. The death scene will go to John in this one for taking one for his children to because it's essentially he did the same thing that one dude in the forest did, but he did it for noble intentions.
Yeah. All right. So scores.
Technicals.
Technicals. I'm gonna give this a 9 because it takes a lot of chances
Yeah,
and most of them pay off.
I agree.
There's no like bad shots in this movie.
There's no bad shots, and much like my problems with the, I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
All right.
My problems with the other movie, 28 Weeks, was that it was so shaky that it didn't let scenes linger.
Yeah.
These scenes are a lot of lingering.
Yeah.
A lot of scenes where the camera is still, so you see stuff that is slowly happening. You're holding your breath because you're just seeing if there's anything about to make noise.
Yeah. John Krasinski really knows how to build suspense, which I
Yeah.
feel like as an art form in horror,
Mm-hmm.
we're slowly seeing less of.
Yeah.
Less directors be able to actually build suspense.
Yeah, a lot of movies now are just like we have to have stuff happening all the time, or else people will get bored.
Jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. Yeah.
And this one, it was like a lot of it was like the scares. It wasn't jump scares. It was like, oh my god, this creature is about. I hope nobody makes a sound.
Right.
And it takes balls to be like, I'm going to make a movie in which the characters don't talk.
Yeah.
It's all going to be reliant on the performance that they give.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to express. I mean, there's subtitles, but you have to rely on their expression speaking for themselves.
Exactly. Story wise,
I'm gonna give it another 8. I think it's a pretty solid story.
I'm right there with you with an 8 on the story. It's an original story.
Yeah.
It's a little bit slow paced for like my personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I'm gonna wanna. I'm rarely gonna be in the mood for.
It's a once in a while
this.
movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like a movie like say, like you could put on any like a Halloween like any night and watch it.
Yeah.
But it is one that you want to pop on every once in a while and just kind of appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, because it is a beautiful piece of cinematography
and a good breakout role, debut.
So enjoyment, I'm probably gonna go again with an 8.
Yeah. So 8. So for me, it was 8, 8.5. So yeah, 8 enjoyment as well. I again, it's not one that I pop on. I'm not gonna pop it on multiple times a year, but it is one that I think deserves some love and deserves a little bit of recognition and appreciation. And like I said, glad I saw it. And I'm always in the mood for something different.
Yeah.
For a director taking a chance and being like, all right, this isn't going to be. And I think this also. What did you think of the alien design?
I enjoyed it. They look pretty cool.
Yeah, the thing about these aliens too, though, they came from another world, but also this is one of those things where they didn't necessarily. It's not bogged down and detailed like where they come from or or it's an alien invasion. It's like, no, we're basically just set in this world where aliens are here and they're here now.
But I have a feeling we're gonna get that story soon because I think it's at the end of this year. A Quiet Place Day 1 comes out.
I guess I need to see the second one.
Well, Day 1's probably gonna be is a prequel too.
All right, so overall, what's the score?
All right, so my overall was 25, yours was 24 and a half, so 24.75 out of 30.
All right. Hey, so I made up for last time.
You tied it up, yeah.
Tied it up. So that's 1-1 on the
1-1.
enjoyment or on the so I took the post-apocalyptic and you took holidays.
Yeah. Yeah, after watching A Quiet Place, it was kind of like that Ralph meme from The Simpsons. Like, I'm in danger. Because I knew I was going to win.
I'm in danger.
Yeah. I was like, I know I'm not going to win this one.
Yeah, when I was watching 28 Weeks, I knew I was going to win this one because I was like, man, these kids are annoying me way too much, and some of these adults are making way too many dumb decisions.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing about these scores, too, is that I think we've given high scores to movies, but they're not necessarily movies that I will just watch regularly.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's been years since I watched 28 Weeks Later.
And I only saw Quiet Place the one time in theaters. Which it's funny, I went and saw that in theaters where there's no speaking or no noise.
Yeah.
That was one where you don't want to be eating like nachos or something because you're going to be making way too much noise and there's nothing to mask it.
People are like, what the hell's wrong with you, dude?
What is this asshole doing eating nachos? Which is usually my go-to like movie theater snack.
I'm very basic. Give me popcorn.
Oh, I have popcorn too. I'm a fat ass at the movie theater. I have popcorn, nachos, and some kind of sweets.
See, I do popcorn and a soda, or maybe I'll step it up and get icy.
But I do nachos if it's like a superhero movie. I need to know that it's going to be mass. I'm not going to go watch a quiet movie.
Very quiet indie film.
Very quiet indie
nachos,
film. Yeah, scarfing down nachos. So, like, I'm probably not going to go see Oppenheimer. Like,
chowing down on nachos.
Chowing down on nachos. Because I imagine that movie probably has a number of quiet scenes in it.
Yeah. Nachos are for Barbie.
Yes, nachos are for Barbie. Oppenheimer is for your, like, Raisinets.
Yeah.
Or your very quiet snacks.
All right, so let's spin the Wheel of Destiny.
The Wheel of Destiny. Let me break it out. Turn up the volume real quick. So we have done holiday horror, and we have done
post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic. What are we going to verse next? Sequel.
I don't know if this is going to win it for me, but we haven't reviewed a movie in this franchise yet. So we'll go with Friday the 13th Part 2.
Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yeah.
Okay, and this one might not win it for me, but I'll throw it in there. Terrifier 2.
Okay.
It might not win it for me. These are both that were kind of like, I don't know if this is going to win it for me, but we'll see.
I just want to watch this movie and review it.
But I've talked about Terrifier. Well, no,
we reviewed the first Terrifier, but I haven't seen the second Terrifier yet, so I'm excited.
And I have. And
I genuinely enjoy Friday the 13th Part 2.
And
I think it's my fourth favorite in the series.
And it'll be interesting to see because Art is now like super popular in the
he's getting closer to being mainline than cult hero. Yeah.
It's funny because I was thinking of that, or I was going to say It Chapter 2, but I don't know if that would be considered a sequel. Because I was talking about the one with Tim Curry. That's more because that was more of just a two-parter rather than a sequel.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to put up It 2 with Skarsgård because I didn't like the second one more than the first.
No, the second one with Skarsgård was pretty rough.
So, yeah. So, all right, cool. It'll be sequels will be Terrifier 2 and Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yeah.
All right, that'll be cool. It's a classic, or it's an oldie versus a newer. But all right, so you have not seen Terrifier 2.
I have not seen it yet. No.
Actually, I should have said Tremors 2.
Tremors 2 is pretty good, but Terrifier 2 is on Screamcast, so that's.
I think it's also Terrifier 2 is also on Shudder, ain't it?
Could be.
All right, but that was fun. I love these verses. I'm glad that we have this upcoming one and then two more after that.
Yeah.
But this was fun. I love this.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. All right, everyone, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Have a good week.
Yeah. Peace, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to Body Bag Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave us a comment as to what you'd like to hear us review or any horror movie topics you'd like to hear us rant and rave about.
And while you're at it, you can find us on Twitter at BodyBagPod and on Instagram at BodyBagPodcast.
Thanks, and we'll see you next time.